The verb have is one that confuses a lot of students. It's used as the main verb, the auxiliary verb. It has irregular conjugations. It's used in contractions. It's used with idioms and expressions. But today you'll learn everything you need to know about the verb have. Welcome back to G First English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, let's review all the conjugations of the verb have because you'll need to know these throughout the entire lesson. And don't worry about taking notes because I summarized everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description, and I'm going to quiz you at the end, so pay close attention. The conjugations are in the infinitive, to have, the base verb have, the past simple had, the present participle having, and the past participle had. Now let's review to have as the main verb. In the present simple, have is used for possession or ownership. I have 2 adorable cats. What about you? What is something that you have? I have, maybe it's a pet, maybe it's a car, maybe it's an interesting possession. Share something in the comments below. I have, put that in the comments. With the subject you have a turtle. She or he has, notice that irregular conjugation. He, she, it, we use has. He or she has a penguin, why not? They have a kangaroo, we have an iguana. Just remember, take a note of this, he, she, it uses has, all other subjects use have. This is in the present simple. Let's talk about the present continuous. Now this is for experiences. What do you think about this sentence? I'm having 2 cats. So our verb is have, but is conjugated in the present continuous. Of course, the auxiliary verb is the verb to be. I am, I'm, and then your verb in ing, having. I'm having 2 cats. What do you think about this sentence? This sentence is incorrect because we don't use the verb have in the present continuous for possession. We use it in the present simple. In the present continuous with have, it's about experiences. So with cats, as you saw before, you would have to say, I have 2 cats, even though it's right now. But for experiences, you can say, I'm having a great time. You're having so much fun watching this video. I hope that's true. She's having trouble understanding this. They're having a party tonight. What about this one? We're having a baby. What does that mean? We're having a baby. This means we're expecting a baby. So if this was the man talking, it would be, my wife is pregnant. We're having a baby. We're expecting a baby. Now let's review the past simple. This is used for both possession in the past or experiences in the past. I had a dog when I was a kid. Ownership, possession in the past. We had so much fun at the party, an experience in the past. She had a baby last week. This means she gave birth last week. He had a headache yesterday. An experience, you experience a headache in the past. Now let's review have as the auxiliary verb. This is used in the present perfect. I have had a busy week. The structure for the present perfect is subject, have or has conjugated with the subject. You already know that he, she, it needs has. All other subjects use have, and then the past participle. Now in my sentence, I have had a busy week. My main verb is the verb to have conjugated in the present perfect. That's why there's had, it's the past participle. But no matter what verb you use as the main verb, the present perfect always uses have as the auxiliary verb. You have been very helpful, so the verb be is the main verb and have is the auxiliary. She has won the lottery twice. He has run 2 marathons. Remember, he and she, you need has as the auxiliary verb and then your main verb in the past participle. We have scheduled the meeting. They have left the party. Now let's review the contractions because these are very important to sound natural like a native speaker and to understand us as well. I've, you've, he's, she's, it's, we've, they've. Native speakers usually use the contractions when the verb have is the auxiliary verb. Important point, American speakers don't use the contraction when have is the main verb, but British speakers do. I've a car. I remember the first time I heard a British speaker say this, I thought it sounded so weird. I've a car, because American speakers would never say that. We would say I have a car because the verb have is the main verb. But both American and British speakers would say I've had a busy week because here have is the auxiliary verb. Let's keep reviewing have as the auxiliary verb. What do you think about this sentence? She had had a meeting with her boss. What do you think? Is this correct? Incorrect? This is correct. Do you know what verb tense this is? This is the past perfect with have as the main verb. Of course, the past perfect is used for a past action completed before another past action, so it's the past in the past. She had had a meeting with her boss before she met the client. 2 past actions. The past perfect is the first past action, the older past action. You're probably more familiar with they had left by the time I arrived. The structure of the past perfect is subject, had, and the past participle. So all subjects use had, and then your main verb is in the past participle. But the past participle of the verb have is had. That's why it's possible to say she had had a meeting with her boss. Let's review the contractions, and we'll use the verb to leave as the main verb, which will be in the past participle, left. They had left. So with the subject I'd left, you'd left, she'd left, he'd left. It is possible with the subject id left. So notice it's just id left, we'd left, they'd left. So you just add a soft D to the subject. What do you think about this sentence? I'd a dog when I was young. Is this correct or incorrect? Well, this is incorrect to an American speaker because the main verb is have. American speaker would say, I had a dog when I was young. Remember, American speakers don't form a contraction when have is the main verb, whether it's the present simple or past simple. But native speakers usually form a contraction when have is the auxiliary verb. And have is the auxiliary verb with all the perfect tenses. You already know the present perfect and the past perfect. These are the 2 most common ones. Let's quickly review the other perfect tenses. For the present perfect continuous, you have your subject, have or has, remember has with he, she, it, been, and then your present participle, your verb, and ing. The past perfect continuous, you have your subject plus had plus been plus present participle. The future perfect, you have subject plus will plus have plus past participle, and the future perfect continuous. You have your subject plus will plus have plus been plus present participle. Remember, you need to change have to has for he, she, it for the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. In all other cases, the verb doesn't change with the subject. So you would say they have reserved a table, she has reserved a table. We have been preparing for the party, he has been preparing for the party. But remember to form those contractions. So what would the first one be? They have, they've reserved a table. She has, she's reserved a table. We have been preparing, we've been preparing. He has been preparing, he's been preparing. Now let's review negation with have. So taking have and making it negative. Let's do this as a little quiz. I have a dog. How would you make this negative? I don't have a dog. Did you use that contraction? You could say, I do not have a dog. But native speakers usually form the contraction when have is negative. She has a car. What is this in the negative? And use the contraction. She doesn't have a car. She does not have a car. We had some problems at the conference. Was this in the negative? We didn't have any problems at the conference. Did you get the contraction? Did not have, didn't have, and did you change some to any? They've had a lot of success. What is this in the negative? They haven't had a lot of success. Here you can leave a lot of. You could also say they have not had a lot of success. She's had a great day. What is this in the negative? She hasn't had a great day. She has not had a great day. They'd had problems before the launch. What is this in the negative? They hadn't had. They had not had problems before the launch. What about this sentence? I have time. How do you make this negative? You could say, I don't have time. I do not have time. What about this sentence? I have no time. What do you think about this? Correct or incorrect? This is correct and very commonly used by native speakers. The structure is subject plus have or has, depending on the subject. Remember, he, she, it, has, no, and then noun. In this case, time. This is used to emphasize the lack of something and to do it in a more dramatic way. I have no time. You could say, she has no money. This sounds more dramatic than she doesn't have money. We have no ideas. We don't have any ideas. Here, ideas, of course, are thoughts to solve problems. But if you say, I have no idea, in the singular, this means I don't know. This is very commonly used by native speakers. So if someone asks you a complicated math problem, what's 362 divided by 3.8? I have no idea. It emphasizes it more than saying, I don't know. This structure is only used in specific situations, but for now you can use it with time, money, ideas plural, or idea singular. Now let's review some common expressions with have, and I'm going to quiz you at the same time so you can practice all of these conjugations and structures that you just learned and learn natural expressions at the same time. To have a blast. This means to have a great time. We a blast at the concert last time. Complete the sentence with the negative form. Do you know it? We didn't have a blast because our keyword is last night, so you need the past simple. To have a ball. This also means to have a great time. Both are commonly used. If we a ball at the conference, we wouldn't have left early. This is the third conditional. Can you complete it? Did you get this one? Well, have is the main verb. So in the past perfect, which you need, if we had had a ball at the conference, we wouldn't have left early. An advanced structure. To have the last laugh. This is when you appear to be the loser at first, but in the end, you're the winner. They rejected our proposal, but I believe in our product and I know the last laugh. As a hint, you need the future simple. Did you get this one? And I know will have as a contraction, we will have the last laugh. You'll ultimately be the winner, even though it seems like you're the loser right now because they rejected your proposal. To have butterflies in your stomach. This is when you're nervous and anxious before a significant event like public speaking. Butterflies in your stomach is normal before a job interview. Can you complete this? And as a hint, you need the gerund verb. Having butterflies in your stomach. Have as the gerund verb. To have a screw loose. This describes someone who is a little crazy, but more in an eccentric way. She might a few screws loose, but she gets results. She might is your modal, so you need the base verb. She might have a few screws loose. Like Shakira said, I'm crazy, but you like it. To have a lot on one's plate, this means to be very busy and it's very commonly used. Right now, Tony, a lot on his plate. This is easy, right? Right now, Tony has, because it's possession, and you can only use the present simple with possession. Right now, Tony has a lot on his plate. To have a cow, this is a fun one. It means to become very upset. A cow is just a small scratch on your car. As a hint, you need the imperative in the negative form. Do you know how to complete this? Don't have a cow. Don't have a cow. To have a heart of gold. This describes someone who is very kind, caring, and generous. Despite a heart of gold, she didn't get the promotion. What's the answer? Despite having a heart of gold, because despite is a preposition and you need the gerund verb after prepositions. So how did you do with this quiz? Share your score in the comments. And don't have a cow if you didn't do very well. You just need to practice, practice, practice. Did you like this masterclass? Do you want me to make more masterclasses where we go deep into a specific concept, like a specific verb tense? If you do, put masterclass, masterclass, put masterclass in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And I have another masterclass on the verb to be, so make sure you watch it right now.